What's going on, Cowboys fans? Chris Daughtry with you guys again here on the Cowboys Report, filling in for Tom Downey this week. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be breaking down a little bit of the Jadeveon Clowney impact that he can bring to this Cowboys defense. Also, we have some injury updates on both KaVontae Turpin and also a little update as well on Cooper Beebe. Before we get into that, though, I want to hear from you guys down inside the comment section. How many sacks will Jadeveon Clowney have for the Cowboys this year? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section of today's show. We'll see what kind of an impact Clowney will have for this Cowboys defense because they definitely need it. So let me know your predictions down in the comment section. All right, the Cowboys have officially made some more roster moves here to put Clowney on this 53-man roster. They have officially signed him, and they are also moving Cooper Beebe to the injured reserve. He's going to miss a minimum of 4 games for the Cowboys. The expectation for him is going to be 6 to 8 weeks. Cowboys are hoping to get him back on more along on that 6-week time frame there. So I think the biggest question right now is how soon will Clowney be able to get on the field for the Cowboys, considering that he just signed yesterday for them. He's been a free agent, so he didn't really go through any type of training camp. Clowney talked to Cowboys media today, and he said, I do expect to play, but just don't exactly know, what the snap count is going to be for this week. He said that he's been working out all summer long, but, working out is a whole lot different than actually going out there and playing real football, getting hit, getting banged up. You see guys during training camp get those soft tissue injuries all the time early on. What you don't really want is for Clowney to go out there in the first week here and end up getting hurt and then end up, you sign him this week and then he just misses more time down the road. You want to give him that, solid time to be able to get ramped up because he is north of 30 now. He's 32 years old. When it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, he was also asked about the snap count and playing time here for Jadeveon Clowney this week. He said, we don't have to make that decision today. So, Jody is right, but at some point this week, they definitely do have to figure out how many snaps he's going to end up playing. I think it's kind of going to be on the lower end, probably 15 to anywhere from 15 to 25 snaps for Clowney there. But, I did really like this quote here from Jadeveon Clowney when he was asked by the media, how much exactly does he have left in the tank? He said, I've got 7 primetime games to prove and show the world. That was my whole thought process of coming down here to the Cowboys. I get to play primetime football and put myself out there again. The sky's the limit again for me. I don't feel like I'm getting old. Terence Crawford just beat somebody, that somebody being Canelo Alvarez, at 37 years old. I have got a lot left in the tank. Now, I will say on the Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez thing, I think Canelo might be a little bit injured, but that's neither here nor there. I want to hear from you guys down at the pinned comment of today's video. Will Jadeveon Clowney play this week versus the Chicago Bears? Let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment. Type Y for yes or N for no. All right, Clowney, in the past couple of seasons, yeah, he is north of 30 years old at this point now, but I definitely do think he is going to be able to help this Cowboys defense. You see the last couple of seasons, 9.5 sacks in Baltimore in 2023, 5.5 sacks for Carolina. Also, those TFLs are very important. Helping out in the run game can be a very, very big thing for this Cowboys defense, especially, you added Kenny Clark as well, and he's been a big-time addition, I think, in the run game, helping out for this Cowboys defensive line. When you look at these defensive end snap counts through the first 2 games for the Cowboys here, Sam Williams at 80, Marshawn Kneeland at 56. Dante Fowler, he really hasn't done as much as I thought, I thought anyways that he would be able to do for the Cowboys so far. I know it's early on in the season, but he was expected to really be, that starter for the Cowboys. And right now, he's got the 3rd most snaps, Donovan Ezeiruaku with 48. And then James Houston actually has the least amount of snaps for the Cowboys at that defensive end spot. Played 9 versus the Eagles. The rest of that came this past week. And it's kind of crazy. He looks like he might be your 2nd defensive end right now behind Sam Williams. Really, Sam Williams has done the most for the Cowboys, but James Houston had a really big impact in that game yesterday, and I just think, adding Jadeveon Clowney into this Cowboys defensive end room is going to make them a whole lot better. Donovan Ezeiruaku, didn't put him on this stat graphic right now because he's only got 1 tackle. Same as you see right there with Dante Fowler. So, we will see exactly what kind of an impact and how the Cowboys want to use Jadeveon Clowney, because I do think in this Matt Ebeflus system, they move guys around and they use them in a lot of different ways. So just having that addition there, like I said, I think he's going to end up being probably, eventually down the line, probably your top 2, maybe even 3 defensive ends on this team. We'll continue here in just a second with some more injury news to KaVontae Turpin. But first, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. I use Prize Picks for a ton of different types of sporting events, whether it's professional football, baseball, basketball, college sports, and so much more. Prize Picks is a ton of fun, and if you guys know ball, you can win real money all season long on Prize Picks. 2 games tonight. This is our power play that we got for that. Going with Baker Mayfield, more than passing yards. CJ Stroud, more than passing touchdowns. Only needs 1 passing touchdown. I think that's a pretty easy one there. Then Ashton Jeanty going with more than. He just needs 1 touchdown tonight. It could be rushing. It could be receiving. Either way, if he gets 1, we will hit on the more than on Ashton Jeanty, and then also going with Justin Herbert, less than passing yards for him. We did the power play on that one, which means you have to get all of your picks right, but Prize Picks actually invented the flex play, which means you can cash out if your lineup is not perfect. You can double your money, even if one of your picks does not hit. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 different states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. So download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link is going to be down in the description of today's show. Also going to be down at the pinned comment of today's show as well. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, we've also got a KaVontae Turpin update for you guys. Brian Schottenheimer said to the media today that it's not actually a neck injury for KaVontae Turpin. It's a trap injury. So kind of in that same space, it's that muscle right there, right behind the neck. It's not actually the neck. He's going to be limited this week in practice, not going to go out there and, get hit or anything like that. But the expectation and the hope right now for KaVontae Turpin is that he will play this week against the Chicago Bears. And it's something that you definitely want to happen, because KaVontae Turpin right now is your 4th wide receiver. And I know a lot of people do not want, Jalen Tolbert to be the guy to have to go in there for KaVontae Turpin. You can see the receiving leaders right here. Jake Ferguson, through the first couple of games, has been really big. And, especially this past weekend, he made a bunch of really good catches and clutch catches for the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb still doesn't have a touchdown catch, but that is going to come at some point here. And George Pickens as well. They're trying to feed him as much as they can. Really haven't been able to connect as much as they want to. But, Jalen Tolbert is the next man up if KaVontae Turpin cannot go. And I do think there is another thing that you have to think about with this KaVontae Turpin injury, is the fact that he is the guy for the Cowboys out there returning those kickoffs. He's got 8 returns this year for 181 yards. And especially with these new kickoff rules where, the kick coverage is lined up closer and they're not getting that head start, you've seen a lot more kicks actually being returned this year and last year as well. And KaVontae Turpin has that breakaway speed. Just having him out there on kick return is a big deal for the Cowboys. So hopefully they can have him out there this week, because like I said, it's probably going to be Jalen Tolbert out there if he can't go. So you also signed Ryan Flournoy to your active roster as well. So it's going to be between these 2 guys, and I know a lot of Cowboys fans are not fans of Jalen Tolbert. So pick a wide receiver for me. If KaVontae Turpin cannot go this week, who's going to be that next man up? Type JT for Jalen Tolbert or RF for Ryan Flournoy. All right, last thing here on today's show before we get out of here, just wanted to give a brief update here on the Cooper Beebe injury status. Todd Archer actually giving us an update on that, saying it is not actually a high ankle sprain like it was reported by Ian Rappaport this morning. So L's in the chat for Ian on that one. He's actually dealing with a lateral sprain of the ankle and has a small fracture in his foot as well. Still the same time frame, still going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, and he's still going to go on IR here. So, tomato, I guess at the end of the day, that time frame for that injury is still going to be the same. Make sure you guys hit that sub button for me right now. Like I said, Tom Downey is out for the week with the birth of their new child, so I am going to be filling in for him for the next couple of days, but he is going to be back for the watch party against the Bears. So do not miss out. Stay up to date on all things Cowboys news. Hit that sub button for me right now.